think I finally understand why I want this to work so badly. And by this, I mean leaving the stable career to build my own thing. And yes, I am following a purpose, a calling to help more women show up, take up space, use their voice, use their skills, use their talents to build the life they desire and make the impact and the contribution they want. At the same time, the main driver for me was my number one core value, which is freedom. I left because I wanted freedom to manage my own time. I wanted more financial freedom. I was doing well, but I wanted to unlock a new level. And if you're building something new, I'm the first one in my family to try and build more freedom, more wealth, more abundance, more health, more in my life by not following the stable path, but carving my own through doing my own thing. I'm the first one. I have no model, no close. I'm the case study. I have no close reference to look up to or someone that taught me how to do it. I'm learning and figuring out as I go. And since I started this YouTube journey, quite doing it in public and bringing you along the way, sharing what I'm learning, what I'm navigating, where I'm at. And I love this journey. I wouldn't trade it for anything else. Does it come with uncertainty? Oh, yes. But I think that COVID taught us that even the stable career isn't so stable. And actually, here's what I realized. What I'm trying to prove to myself is that actually building something where you rely on your own talents, purpose, calling, heart, what lights you up, your fire is much more stable and sustainable. Not to mention fulfilling and freeing and all and healing and transformational and inspirational and inspiring for others and all the things than following the boring, stable path. That's what I'm trying to prove to myself and to a younger Marina. I don't want to be the one who disappoints her because young Marina, she had a vision. She could see it, she could feel it, even if she didn't have the words yet, even if she didn't have the clarity and she couldn't picture it or imagine it because she didn't experience it before. She could feel it. That's why I love using calling. And that's what a visionary does. That's what a visionary's life looks like. You keep feeling called towards something. You maybe you can see it. Of course, when I was little, I couldn't. Now I can see it very clearly, but I'm the only one who can see it. That's a journey. That's a commitment. You're the one committed to your vision. And young Marina, she could feel it. And I certainly, dang, I don't want to be the one who disappoints her. I think that there's always nuance, but an even bigger reason on why this means so much for me is that I want to show her that the dreamer was right. That if you believe in something, you can build it. If you follow that calling, if you follow your calling, there's no way you can get it wrong. There's no way you can mistake your path for someone else's. If you keep following your heart, and that doesn't mean you will never fail. That doesn't mean you will never fall. It doesn't mean a bed of roses, like smooth path, smooth sailing at all. This is often the most difficult path because it brings up all of your fears. They will surface and they will stare you in the face, and you're like, either you face this and you overcome it, you figure a way to overcome it, or you're stuck here. You won't go to the next step. And it's a fear after fear after fear. And as I said, I wouldn't trade it for anything else because the level of growth, of healing, of abundance, of freedom I've experienced in this body, internally, and in my own life is unmatched. I want more of it. And this is what I wanted, like the idea I got that I wanted to speak about on this video is that I want to prove to myself and to that younger Marina, and also to all the women who have a big dream, who are following and building their dream life, that you can have it all. Because I don't know about you, but I don't have that proof in my life. I didn't have that model, that proof growing up, looking at my family and the people around me. I didn't know someone close who had it all. And I know have it all means different things for different people. As you know, I chose not to have children. I'm happily child free. That is not part of my picture. But what I do for this life, but what I do want is to contribute because that what fills my heart. That what lights me. That's what lights me up. And I do want to create not the same level of financial abundance, but more financial abundance that I was creating while I was working in corporate, while I was following the stable path. I want to prove that I can have it all my own way. That's it. That's the thing. I want to prove to myself, young Marina, and all people who need more proof that this is possible. One more proof that you can do this and this is actually a viable thing. It's doable, it's possible. Not only possible, you're meant for it. You can have it all, whatever that all means to you. Because I don't know about you, but I've had pieces, but not all of them together at once. I had moments where my career was flying, where my bank account was thriving and flourishing and multiplying. And in that same chapter and season of my life, I was I had been single for a while. I wasn't even actively looking for a partner because I kind of had lost faith in romance and in long-term love. Also because I come from parents who separated. So I kind of was, what is the word? Disillusioned? Delusional? Not delusional. I wasn't, it was hard for me to believe in that. So I wasn't even looking for it. But there was pain inside. So the relationship side was so so. Business, career was going great. Health, I had season where my health wasn't that great, where I was trying to control my body image, where I had such a love-hate relationship with food, which like it just took over my life. What I'm gonna eat, how much I'm gonna eat, what I'm supposed to be eating, because I learned very early on that there's a certain look you gotta have. It took a while, like the first 25 years of my life to I was following diets one after the other. It was awful. And so I had season where things were going great and others weren't going great. I wasn't feeling healthy. I wasn't feeling free in my body. I wasn't feeling free to take up space and use my voice. I was very much hiding in relationships in every area of life. I can vividly remember this chapter of my life. Work and career was going great. Everything else, I felt like I was suffocating myself. I felt like I was shrinking. I felt like, and maybe even inside that career, I did feel like I was suffocating because it wasn't the thing I later realized I wanted to be doing. There were so many things that areas that were going great, areas that were going not so great. And right now, it's kind of the opposite. It's the other way around, where my body, I feel the most healthy, vibrant, strong, stable in my joints in my 40s than I've ever felt in my whole life. That feels like a crazy statement to me, but that's true. And I eat what I want. I eat whenever I want. And I eat whatever I want. I don't need to edit. I don't need restrictions. I don't need to follow diets. I don't own a scale. I haven't owned a scale for the last over a decade, I think. And my body, I'm in the best shape of my life with the least effort. Also, physical exercise. I found peace with bar and Pilates. And before it was such a struggle to stay consistent. So you see, there were areas where consistency, abundance, ease came easily, and areas where I was struggling. So right now, I feel in the best shape of my life, vibrant, healthy, alive. I love food. I love food. Enjoy preparing meals with my partner. I'm I've been with my partner for the last 10 years. I found my soulmate. I get to share this life with a person who gets me, my best friend, someone I trust, someone who trusts me, someone I get to build, I share a vision with, and I get to build our next chapters with. The one thing where I feel the wobble now, potentially, paradoxically, it's the business. It's the thing where I'm figuring out first in my family to try and pursue this. Actually, not true. Not entirely true, but for sure I'm the first in my family that has had the privilege to do it and to keep pursuing it. That for sure. Yeah, that wasn't a very truthful statement. I'm the first one who gets to do it because she has the conditions, the privileged conditions to do it. And I don't take that for granted. And also, I forgot you guys. But as I was saying, I have notes. I have notes, but you get it. So right now, the point for me, and this is why I'm like, I care so much about it because I need to prove, I know this is true. It's a little bit backwards, but hear me out. I need to prove it, but at the same time, I know it's true, so I don't need to prove it. And yet, I do need the proof. I do want the proof. I want the receipts. Like, yes, you get to build your own life and have it all and do it on your own terms. And I think that it's different. It's different for everyone. So that's why when you start following what worked for someone else, you lose yourself in the process. You stop hearing yourself. You forget how you sound like, you forget what you want and you lose the opportunity to build it your own way. But if you've never done this before, it's so scary to carve your own path, but it's also so important that you carve your own path, not someone else's, and you do it your own way. I'm really trying to give younger Marina the proof she wanted, the ending. And I know it's not an ending, but the kind of life she was picturing. She couldn't see it, but she could feel it. I don't know if you get me. I don't know if you get this. I don't know if you've experienced this when you were little, but you knew you were meant for something great, for something big. And I don't say that with arrogance. It's like it was calling you. You could feel it. And every decision in my life followed that thread. So I'm like now in this wobble season where I'm like, are we sure it's going to work out? And at the same time, I'm sure it's going to work out. It's such a paradox that you got to learn to hold in this when you're doing the entrepreneurial way, aka your own way. And here's something that I do have proof of concept because it worked. And if it works with something, when you do, what's the saying? How you do one thing is how you do everything. And also, let me explain. So, with my health journey, body image, dieting, all those things, after 15 years of following diets, following what people were telling me to eat, not telling me directly, but this guy created this diet, and this one created this other diet. Don't eat carbs, eat more of this, eat less of this, and wait like how many grams, how many, like all of that control and restriction made me really hate food, preparing food, and also lose the signal, lose the ability to hear my body's wisdom. So I did something radical, which I could afford to do because I don't have health issues. So I'm not recommending to anyone to do this. But for me, it was a radical choice that I made intentionally, consciously. Again, I was following, I could feel it. It was what I needed to do. It was scary, yes. Came a point where I just scratch everything I've done so far. I'm out of the dieting loop. I don't want to own a scale. I don't want to weigh myself every morning. I don't want any of that. I don't want to have to weigh my food. I don't want to. Enough. It was so much noise in my head that I came to a breaking point, and I will get to the business side in a minute. You will see how this is connected because it's the same principle that I'm applying to what I'm doing now. I was like, everyone out. Too many voices in my head. I need to hear myself again. Too many rules. I hate the rules unless my own. My own, I will follow happily. I hate constriction. I hate restriction. And yet I force myself into boxes, into following rules that weren't written for me for so long. So that was like a rebellion, a radical move. I was like, I'm going to eat whatever I want, whenever I want, and I'm not going to follow anything. And that was the time where also a calling, and it was a gradual process. I started removing meat from my diet. There was also a 7, 8 years period where I went completely vegan. And honestly, that was the detox I needed because it helped me hear my body again. To the point that when my body started asking for some protein, some more, and this isn't discussion about yes, you can get protein with your vegan diet, but my body started craving fish. It started craving cheese. I know cheese is not great, but I do love some cheese here and there. So I felt confident enough to start Also following food that gave me pleasure, even if I know it isn't super healthy. I trust my own ability to regulate how much I have and to trust and follow my body and what it tells me. Going vegan was super helpful for that because it was an extreme detox, but the radical choice was what made the switch. Because at that point, I stopped listening to everyone else, to any recommendation, to anything, and I went completely on my own. And that was a journey because how long I hadn't been doing that. I needed to relearn how to recognize, okay, I'm full now. Okay, I'm hungry now. Okay, I want this now. Okay, no, I want this. It was such a process, like a baby learning how to feed yourself at best. And there was a very uncomfortable phase where, for a couple of years, I actually gained weight. I actually gained weight. I can't tell you how uncomfortable that was, but I sticked. I sticked. I stuck with it. I followed through. I stayed with it. That's what I want to say. I stayed with it. I was looking for a remote. It's getting hot. I was gaining weight and I stayed with it because I don't know, something told me, keep going. And believe it or not, after that adjustment phase, maybe it was my body that told me keep going. And because I had started listening again, I was trusting it more. Maybe it was that. But gently, slowly but surely. And also, I can tell you how many times people told me this. Oh, you're vegan. You don't look like a vegan. Because you imagine a vegan person being super skinny. That's the general stereotype, I guess. But I can't tell you how many people told they were like shocked. Oh, you're vegan. You certainly don't look like one. And I didn't know how to take it. Didn't feel like a compliment, but still, I soldiered through. I stayed put. I kept doing my own thing. And eventually, I started to realize I feel more confident in my choices. At the supermarket, this is what I'm buying, this is what I'm cooking. Not only starting to feel connected to what I wanted to eat, but also how much, when, like the the pleasure of feeding myself came back. I can't tell you how liberating that feels. And after those couple years where my body was adjusting to this new, I don't want to call it routine because it still feels constrictive, but to us doing things our own way, oh my God, it's just, it naturally found, and I don't want to use I lost weight. It naturally defaulted to its most healthy, supportive, strong shape. And I know because I feel like that inside of it. It went naturally to that. So that's how I know, and that we're back. We're back talking to each other, listening to each other. And let me tell you, I don't even have the split second decision moment in my mind where I'm about to think about, okay, am I having for dinner? What are we having for lunch? What am I preparing? What time am I eating? Have I ever had too much pasta? Have I had too much of that? I've There's zero of that. And it took a lot of conviction to eradicate all that trash talk in my mind. Every time the thought started like going off, I was like, no, 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 nope, I don't want to hear it. Out. I don't want to hear it. that voice doesn't live here anymore. What lives here, it's just the belief I've cultivated in the last 11, 12, 13, 14, close to 14 years. I get to eat what I want, when I want, and that's it. And I get to be healthy because of that. That's my belief. It's that clean. And I love it that people are shocked by how much I eat. And I'm surrounded by people who count how much pasta they're having because they're worried about gaining weight. How much, I'm talking about healthy people that don't have health issues. Of course, we're not, if that is a whole other conversation. People that don't need to restrict their diet. I don't know what to tell you. So that is the model, the proof of concept I have. It led me back, letting myself get it wrong in those 2 years of adjusting to finally hear myself again and trusting that I can take care of my body. I can take glorious care of my body. I know what my body needs, how much it needs, when it needs it, what it needs, the combination it wants. And I know how to feed both my need, like my essential need, and my pleasure. Because food is also pleasure. Everything is both. There's a discipline that now comes natural. I don't even want to call it discipline. There's no discipline. It's just how I choose. And there's the devotion of making, like feeding yourself in the most delicious way, nutritious, delicious way. And that applies to everything. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So I'm taking that and I'm applying it to curating my offers, curating my business, creating my message, my videos, what I get to share online, what I get to talk about. Because if you're the first one in your family, in your lineage, in the group of people that is building something of our own, first of all, kudos. So proud of you from a stranger on the internet, but I'm so proud of you collectively for all of us. And it takes courage, it takes guts. And also, I know that because you want to get it right, especially if you're starting over later in life, this is maybe after you left your comfortable job, your corporate job, and now you're trying something to build something of your own. You don't want to get it right. You don't want to waste quote unquote time. You want to go at it and make it happen. So it's easy to start looking for answers outside of you. You start looking at successful women who've done the thing you're trying to do, to build, that have built the thing you're trying to build. And that's legitimate. That's legit. Do surround yourself with people who are living the life you want, who have built the thing you're trying to build. But there is a very thin line from being inspired by that and letting that energy like come into your orbit and being uplifted and recharged by that and letting that override what you know, override the way you need to do your own thing. That's easy. That's how you lose yourself. That's how you stop hearing yourself and give away your authority. Just how you lose connection with your wisdom, with your intuition, with your calling, with the way the thing you're trying to build wants you to show up, needs you to show up. That's how we lose a very key thread. That's the red thread, the through line. It's easy to lose it if you think you're not an expert. If you're a beginner, maybe you're a beginner, what you're trying to do. So it's easy to seek advice, what your colleagues, what people further ahead tell you, and you start having all those voices in your head, at some point it's too many voices. Like for me, it was what I was experiencing with following all of those diets, too many voices. And you come to a point, I hope you reach that point if you're experiencing this, where you're like, enough, out. Now I'm doing things my own way. Now I just want to hear myself again. And I always say that I started YouTube because I needed to hear myself again. I intentionally, consciously stopped to see how similar the pattern is. It came to a point where I was like, enough. I'm not enrolling in another program. I'm not stacking another certification on the pile I already have. I don't need to learn a new skill. I'm not buying another course. I'm not buying another marketing expert plan, any of that. I'm building things my own way. That was a little over a year ago. And it's been a slow build, a sticky phase of growth where I'm still in the process, but I can see the light at the end. I already feel lighter. I already feel trusting my own decisions more. I already feel I'm just doing things how I want. I don't want to even check. I don't even want to know how people are doing it these days. I don't want to know how to package my YouTube videos better. I don't want any of that right now. Maybe at one point I will, of course, I'm a forever student. I will go back to learning, to seeking mentors. I've had a mentor back in June. I'm not condemning that. I'm just saying that if you feel there are too many voices in your head, it's time to make space to hear yourself again. And you probably need a face, give yourself space and grace in that face, rhyming, to get it wrong a few times before you start to get it right, before you start to really hear yourself and trust yourself and go for it. Because that's what your calling, the thing you're trying to build, your purpose wants and needs from you. You can't have it all. I'm literally here creating the tangible evidence, first and foremost for myself and for that younger Marina, that I can have it all. If I can have it all, you certainly can have it all, whatever all means to you. And I hope you get to create it. I hope you trust yourself enough to start tuning out the noise and get back in focus, get back to hearing yourself again. This is a theme that's very alive, that I feel very alive right now, which is also why I tweaked the one-on-one offer that I have on my website. You can check it in the description box. It's precisely focused right now for those of you who feel there's too many voices in your head and you want to just hear yourself right now because you want to build your thing your own way. Whether like there's something you really want to do, you really want to build, you really want to change, but it feels blurry. If it feels blurry, I would love to help you get back in focus again. The link is in the description, and right now it's 50% off because I want more of you to get to experience that because it is liberating. You get to have it all, and you get to have it all on your own terms. Let's build that. Let's build more proof for more women who are tapping into that possibility and desire and collectively build that energy of it's possible. We're doing it. Oh my God, let's do that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. If this video sparked something to you, sparked something for you, give this a like, comment below. Let me know where you're at. Let me know what resonated, what clicked, what What is a reflection that sparked for you, a realization you have from listening and watching this? I would love to know. And follow, subscribe, follow along, and I will see you tomorrow.